Hi everyone, my name is Wanko Ogechi and I'm going to be talking about my project, Rem'S Ltd. Rem'S Ltd is an existing chemical manufacturing company that produces and supplies chemicals. They have various target markets like oil and gas companies, food manufacturing companies, textile companies. Rem'S Ltd has various operations like storing chemicals, manufacturing chemicals, and also supplying chemicals to their clients. Now, for their functionalities, they give information on the various chemicals, keep information on clients, keep information on the availability of chemicals, track the delivery of chemical because this is one of the problem REMS Limited had in the past. They were not able to track their order to the various clients, so clients usually received the wrong order. Rem's limited era diagram and enterprise rules. A plant produces many chemicals. Chemicals are produced in one plant. A store has many chemicals. The chemicals can be found in two stores. A plant distributes chemicals to two stores. The two stores have one plant. The store has many clients. A client can shop from any of the two stores. A store has one or three employees. An employee can work in any of the two stores. 5 employees can track one order. One client checks the availability of chemicals. One order is issued to one waybill. Moving on, we have the logical table derivation. Here we have our logical table, and this is the notation: primary key, foreign key, and then you have non-key attributes. For our strong entities, we have chemical, employee, department, client, store. For our weak entities, we have rem plant, availability, client order, and waybill. The chemical gives information on the chemical ID, chemical name, functionality, and price. Employee gives us information on the employer, like their relationship status, their email, their gender. For department, gives us information on the department ID, department name. For availability, it gives us information on the chemical ID, which is a foreign key, the chemical name, the stock, the manufacturing date, and the expiring date as well. For waybill, it gives us information on the client, the dispatch date, the arrival date, and also the client ID and the location on which it's going to be delivered to. This is a representation of the chemical database for REMS Limited. Here you have the create table for chemical, and the primary keys I use int auto increment. So for anytime a chemical is entered into the database, it automatically gets a new chemical ID. Same for employee ID. And for employee, under the table, you have gender enum. So I use this, so we have male, female, and other. For chemical email, I used unique check, so the email can come out in any of this format. Same goes for client ID. I use int auto increment, so whenever a new client comes, the client gets a new ID automatically. So it's like that in the database. So here are the indexes. This is the index for chemical. This is the index for client. This is the index for department, index for waybill. Moving on, next we have our queries. First, we have the chemical details. This gives us information on the chemicals, the chemical name, the functionality, and the price. Next, we have the client details. This gives us information on the client ID, email, location, and contact name. Next, you have the clients and the client order. This gives us information on the client and the chemical that they've ordered food. You can also see the price here as well. This gives us information on the chemical, the stock of the chemical, the availability, and we are using the manufacturing date to find out the stock and the average of a chemical in the year 2016. Department and employee. This gives us information on the employee and the department that they belong in. Next, we have waybill and client order. This gives us information on the client order and the waybill, when it will arrive, the dispatch day, the location and where it's going to, and the client's ID. Now I'm going to run it. So the first result is from our first query, which shows chemical details. So it has given us chemical ID for emulsifiers and the function as well and the price. So for all the chemicals, it has given us the name, the ID, the function as well, and the price. So when a client comes, they can see this and make their decision. Our second query, which says client details, gives us information on the client's name, their ID, their email, their location, and their contacts. No, we all have different client IDs. And then for our third query, which is client and client order, which gives us information on the client ID, the email, their location, their contact, no, the name of the chemical they ordered, their purchase date, the purchase date, the purchase ID, the number of chemical they ordered, their total price, their mode of payment, and their delivery option. So for Alexandra, this is her email, her location is Chevron, her contact no, and she ordered for correction in Vitor. And this is her purchase date, the purchase ID, the number of chemicals she ordered, the total price, the mode of payment, and also the delivery option. Next is availability. So this is for 2016, and this is the availability for the stock that they have. This is the stock 171, and the average stock is 85.5. So for the department and employee, this shows the department, employee ID, and the department they belong to. And then for the last query, which is waybill and client order. So here shows the dispatch date, the arrival day, the location, and the client ID. So here shows where the dispatch day, when the thing left the office or the store, when it will arrive, the location, and the client's ID. Thank you for listening.